favor of the bill?
Good afternoon. My name is Deborah McGregor, and I'm an attorney in good standing in the state of Texas and the Chief Executive Officer of CareNet Pregnancy Center of Central Texas in Waco, Texas, and I'm testifying in support of HB2. I've been in this position as Chief Executive Officer of CareNet Pregnancy Center for 8 years, and have been in leadership as we have served at least 20,000 women during my time there who were facing crisis pregnancies or considering abortion, and at least 12,000 babies. In our pregnancy medical clinic, we perform free pregnancy tests, 3D, 4D ultrasounds. We also offer services to women, new and expectant mothers with children under 1, and we also provide housing to women who have been kicked out of their homes because of continuing a pregnancy. I cannot know many of the women we see because of my leadership role in serving so many women, but there are occasions when some especially touch my heart, and I follow up on them to make sure that we offer them excellent services. As my job as the CEO, I always want to make sure that we offer excellent services, and regardless of their decision to continue or terminate a pregnancy. There are occasions when I hear horrendous stories through tears and wails, and have helped women complete complaints to the Texas Medical Board and to HHSC for the care they received or not in an abortion clinic. I want to share the most recent such story, which was recounted to me over the phone while one of our clients was lying in a hospital bed in Dallas, Texas on April the 5th of this year, 2013. This young lady had done a medical rotation in our clinic and was very familiar with all that we do, very familiar with the risk and procedures surrounding an abortion and the sanctity of life for which we stood. But as an organization who does not pressure women into continuing a pregnancy, but equips them with the truth about the abortion risk and procedures, we did everything that we could to equip her to choose life, but she did choose to abort. She also gave us permission to follow up with her because we knew that she would be making this decision in private and in silent.
Remember, no cameras, okay? Thank you. Go ahead.
As we knew that abortion physicians typically do not follow up with their patients, at least in our area, and is always in the case of our clients in Waco, Texas. Here's what she told me when I called her to check on her the next day following her procedure. Yesterday morning, and I told her that I would offer this testimony to you because it is still very fresh. She does want to tell you her story, but she's not capable of recounting it herself.
You're going to have to wrap up.
Okay. Yesterday, the morning of April 4th, I drove to the Dallas Planned Parenthood mega clinic for what was supposed to be a standard D&E. As a nurse, I knew what the procedure consisted of.
Your time is up. Thank you very much. You can ask questions. Go ahead, Representative Farr.
Go ahead.
You operate a crisis pregnancy center, is that what I understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So when women present to you and they want to exercise their constitutional right, do you refer them to a place where they can have a safe and legal abortion?
They don't come to us for abortion.
If they did, would you? Is it against your policy to refer them?
It's not who we are. We're a Christian agency that offers alternatives to abortion.
So your answer is no?
What was your question?
Do you refer a woman, if a woman presented to you and said, I want an abortion, would you refer her to a safe and legal place where she could have that done?
What we would tell her is we offer alternatives to abortion.
Would you give her a referral?
We don't make referrals to abortion clinics.
All right, that was my question. What about contraception? If she's, is that part of your counseling?
When they come to us, they think they're pregnant.
Right, but a lot of times these are people that don't have information about contraception.
If they have
do you steer them in that direction?
If they have a negative pregnancy test, then what we tell them is the best way that we know for them to not be back in our clinic, especially if they're single, is to not have sex outside of marriage. If they are married, then we refer them to their physician or their spiritual advisor to have that discussion with their husband.
Do you discuss contraception with the women?
We don't discuss contraception. If they want to see a physician, then they can see a physician about that, and we will refer them to a physician to have that discussion, but we don't discuss that.
That's not part of your discussion.
That's not part of our services, no.
Appreciate your answer.
Mr. Chair. Yes, from Huberty.
So I know with everybody, we don't have a lot of lot of time, but I read the story that she gave here, and I guess the synopsis of it was that this young lady went in and had an abortion done, and it's I guess a Planned Parenthood clinic, and had a medical complication, and went back up to the clinic and said something's not right, and she happened to be a nurse, said something's not right, and they said, well, basically, we can't help you, you need to go to the clinic, and it turns out that she had a pretty major medical problem.
Yes, she knew, but by the way that she was feeling when she was leaving, that something wasn't right, and so she went back in and said, I think my blood pressure's dropping, I'm having pressure in my uterus, in my rectum, I'm thinking that I'm losing blood, and they said, well, basically go to the emergency room, and they had her drive herself to the emergency room.
And so then she ended up with surgery, and the doctor basically said they pierced her uterus and started the abortion, tore it. Yeah.
They ripped her uterus.
And at the end of the story, it was a similar case occurred only 3 days before hers, and what was the end result of that?
That patient died. They told her that because of the time that it took for her to explain what had happened, she had to go through 3 doctors. When she got to the emergency room, because the physician had no admitting privileges, she got to the emergency room on her own. She had to explain to 3 different people what had happened. By the time they got her into surgery, she had lost a pint of blood, and they told her that someone 3 days earlier had died from the very same thing.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for being here.
All right, thank you very much for your testimony. Carolyn Connor.